Hello there. Hope everyone's keeping well. And what a weird month it has been. Yeah, we had 2 or 3 weeks of baking heat, and then the weather changes and drops 10 degrees, and we have almost rain for a whole week. Very weird. But today is a beautiful day out. It's 17 degrees Celsius, dry, cloudy, but no forecast of rain for today, as we get out and do a bit of a spin. And I wanted to talk about Garda running a BikeSafe course designed for bikers with full licenses, and I did it a few weeks ago and found it very good, very interesting. So they initially advertised that they were having 100 places, and I believe they were massively oversubscribed for service. And they have since extended it to try and do more and get more bikers into it. So the premise of it is to encourage safer riding, obviously. And what happens is, first part of the course, it's held in Dublin Castle in Traffic Corps headquarters. So the first part of the course is classroom based. So there are 4 students per class. So you go in and you do an hour, just over an hour of video and discussions about road positions, speed, protective gear, general road awareness, road safety. And they encourage you to do more training, read more books, ride more, and be more observant on the road. So you go through that and do your bits and pieces, and after that then you're brought outside and you meet your individual guard who's going to take you on a spin. So the spin is just over an hour. There's 2 routes that they have selected going from Dublin Castle and back to Dublin Castle, and they can either do the route forward or in reverse, depending on the humour of the guard on the morning. So he'll go, right, we're doing Lucan route in reverse. That's what I got. So there's 2 routes, one out by Lucan and the other is, well, this is part of that spin, out by Red Oath, across to Wood Blanchardstown and back in. So they're, decent routes through the city, out onto the rural roads. You have a bit of good stretch of roads, and then you have a bit of more country twisties like this. So they mark you out of 9 categories, and if you get more than 2 3-point scores, you failed, and you're encouraged to come back and do it again. 5 is obviously very good, all the way down to 1, which is you shouldn't be on the bike. Okay, so the guard is outside with his bike, he meets you, and for most of the riders, they check tax, insurance, license, and then go through a powder check with you on the bike. So powder check is petrol, oil, water, damage, electrics, and rubber. So make sure your bike is up to specification and fully roadworthy. And they ask you to, how do you check your oil? And have you done a visual observation on your tyres, how's the electrics on the bike, is there enough coolant, all those bits and pieces. My guard had a chat with me and said, "You're riding along, blah blah blah. Do you ride much?" Went through all the bits and pieces that I ride a fair bit. It seems I ride a hell of a lot more than everyone else in the group of 4 that I was with. So I said, "Grant, let's go have a look at the map. This is the route we're going to do, and we're going to do it in reverse. Do you know the roads?" No, I don't. So I've ridden it once, the front way around, just to try and get a rough feel for it. So I wouldn't be too sure in some of the junctions for turning off and that, but other than that, I'm not too bad. He goes, "Grant, right." Went up, and he says, "Oh, before we go, I like that Sena camera on the side of your lid there. Are they any good?" So we got talking about that, and I said, "Yeah, video quality is good, the audio quality is very good, comms are good through it, good radio, good music." So, yeah, I've been thinking of getting one. So obviously with the Garda bike, the Garda helmet, you can't alter the Garda comms on the bike, obviously. So, but I wouldn't mind having one for when I ride on my own that I can just clip on and clip off. So absolutely sound bloke. He said, "Right, let's get out on the road." No matter what happens today, unless you're absolutely crazy, you won't be getting a ticket. So ride like you normally ride. And if that's fast, and we'll talk about it later. So just ride your normal route, and we'll do our observations. Don't mind me floating around behind you. I'll be inside you, I'll be outside you, I'll be right behind you, I'll be checking what you're doing. So don't worry about me. I thought, yeah, Grant, now, obviously, no matter who you are, riding with a guard on your tail is going to put you, you're on notice, you're being watched, no matter what happens. But, these guys are there to observe you and encourage you and help you. They're not there to hassle you or, give you grief. They want to help you learn. So we got out on the road and did the route, and you're encouraged to ride the route properly. If there's room for overtake, make an overtake, as long as it's safe and secure. We did that. I did a few overtakes, actually on a single stretch of road. And he commented how efficient and good they were. He said, it's the kind of stuff they do. You pull out, you accelerate. You already know the gap that you're going to fit back into, should you need to fit back into a gap. You've observed those gaps 2, 3, 4 cars ahead, depending on where you're going. And he said, yeah, there was only one occasion that I pulled back in where I had to use the brakes at all, because the traffic just congested that much and they were slowing down anyway. But other than that, I'd pull out, overtake, and just slip back into the gap, waiting for the next chance to overtake. So, I told him earlier, I'm a relatively cautious rider. I'm not fast. I am not a speed demon at all. I like a comfortable spin on the bike that I enjoy. But then there were sections of road we were on coming back into town. It was an 80-kilometre zone, but it's 2 lanes of road. And you could see the cars sort of creeping up on our outside. And obviously with a guard sitting behind you, they're not going to pass you. They're just going to creep and creep and creep. And I think he just got a bit fed up, so he came up beside me, blipped his siren lights, and gave me the old make progress signal. I looked at him, I shook my shoulder, yeah, no problem. Indicated to the outside lane, and put the speed down. Now, saying it was an 80 zone, I was then going above 100. And the cars were still sitting on our tail. So he had dropped back a bit. He came up behind me again. Blip, blip. Making progress. Alright, you're the boss. So again, faster again. So when we stopped at the next set of traffic lights, he had a word. He said, look, I'm not trying to make you go fast, but don't get boxed in. Those cars were just creeping and creeping and creeping and creeping, and you were going to end up getting boxed in, whereby you've no major choice on what you do, and you're stuck between cars and vans and everything else. No matter what, you don't want that. It's a more dangerous position than speeding. And I went, okay, I understand the logic, I totally do, and I agree. It's better to keep ahead of the flow of traffic. And he said the probability is, in situations like that, it's not the bike that's going to get stopped for speeding. It's the car directly behind you. Because he's putting pressure on you. Now that's unless you're speeding away from traffic and you're just speeding. But if you're doing a speed to keep ahead of traffic and that traffic is getting close behind you, you're more at risk. And he said obviously the thing to do is, if you're doing that, go out, overtake, and when there's space back in the traffic lane, you go back into the traffic lane. So, you know, be observant, be mindful of where you're going and what you're doing, and just take a hand. So that to me was, you know, somewhat counterintuitive, because you see all the ads on the television, road safety authority, speed kills, reduce your speed, blah blah blah. And yes, clearly, without doubt, speed is a contributory factor to so many accidents. But it is a contributory factor, it is not the reason. So he was encouraging me to make progress at speed for safety reasons, not to speed. So that was the big difference there, and there's been a few discussions on the Facebook group about the Bikesafe course, and most people were saying, yeah, they were encouraged a few times to pick up the pace, and you were picking up the pace to stay ahead of everything. It wasn't, here, you have a guard with you, you can speed whatever you want, you can do whatever speed you want. That wasn't it. It was making progress for safety. So that I found interesting. And then we got back to the city centre. And I do use bus lanes a lot, as you may have seen in my other videos. So when we stopped, he said, right, I need to have a word with you about the bus lanes. Yeah, grand. He goes, great. No matter what happens, in any accident, in a bus lane, you are in the wrong. If someone pulls in on top of you, you are in the wrong. End of discussion. So now there will be contributory factors, such as them not being observed and stuff like that. The de facto position is you are in the wrong, you are in a bus lane, you are not a bus. But it's going to take some guard on a really bad day to actually pull you for riding in a bus lane. So what you do, you go into the bus lane, you make progress, and then you pull back into the traffic lane. So you don't sit in the bus lane the whole time just to sit in the bus lane. You get in, you advance, and you get back into your normal driving lane. So I've taken that on board. It's obviously a very important factor, especially when it comes to accidents and insurance and your safety. You know, as he said, you ride as if everyone's out to kill you, because, you know, they probably are. So you have to do that. You have to ride that way. You have to be observant. You have to pay attention. And yeah, I don't disagree with him in any way, shape or form with that kind of stuff. So overall, I thought it was an excellent 3 or so hours of my week well spent. Gave a few other bits and pieces of advice, talked about a few other things, and then he sits down to write up your report card. You know, things like I'll have to go through them earlier or later. So filtering, progress, observation, position. Attitude was one of them. He goes through all the different factors and scores you out of 5. So there are 9 categories. I got 5 5s and 4 4s. And I said 2 of those 4s could have easily been 5, but you know, we can't give you everything. And I thought it was very useful and very instructive. Fair play to the Gardaí for running this course. I encourage anyone who has time and the ability to do it to go do it. He said they hope going forward that insurance companies will take this on board and you get a bit of a reduction in your insurance for having done the course. And he said it may get to a stage in a year or so down the line where they have so many applications and so much going on that they're going to have to charge a small fee for doing it. And you know something, I'd gladly pay that small fee for doing it because I found it totally useful. And it was more also the fact that it was encouraging and it gave you a bit more confidence. So it gave me a good bit more confidence in riding the bike. Again, not about speed, but about being observant, watching what's going on around you, seeing what's happening, trying to anticipate things. And it's like anything else, the more confident you feel, the easier it is to do this stuff. Yeah, but as long as you don't get complacent, the other side of that coin. But I've really enjoyed it, and I'd like to thank Garda for running it. There's a few others I know who have done it, and I'd love to get their feedback too. See what they thought. The lads in our club did it last weekend. I haven't talked to him since. But he's an advanced driving instructor. He's not a guard, but he is of one of the services that do use lights, sirens, and you know, he's one of the instructors. So he should be as qualified as any of the guards on the bikes, and he rides a lot. Now he's not, his qualification is not on the bikes, but what translates from car to bike is pretty much the same factor, the same deal. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say about it. Yeah, I'd do it again. If the availability was there, I would do it almost every year, because it can be 1 or 2 small things that you pick up in these courses that make it all worthwhile, and it's anything to keep you safe on the road. So yeah, if you can sign up for a Bikesafe or similar course wherever you are, I would highly recommend it. So whatever you are, guys, girls, ride safe out there and take it easy.